Assalamu alaikum and good morning to all of you. I am Najiha Simporna. Together with Miss Saima Abdul Jalil, we will discuss the important concepts in post-colonial studies, namely the nation, nationalism, and identity. Now, at first, these ideas may seem simple. We often think of a nation as a country, nationalism as a pride, and identity as who we are. However, in post colonial theory, these concepts are not fixed or naturally existing. Instead, they are shaped by history, culture, and power. Now, in post colonial theory, it will help us understand how colonization influenced the way societies see themselves. It shows a nation is not just about geography, but about a shared sense of belonging that is socially constructed. For instance, Benedict Anderson describes the nation as an imagined community. This means that even if we do not personally know everyone in our country, we still feel connected to them. Now, this connection is formed through shared experiences such as language, education, and media. For instance, in the Philippines, even if someone is from Mindanao and another is from Luzon, they still identify as Filipino. They may not know each other, but they share a sense of belonging. Similarly, nationalism is more than just a pride. It is a powerful force that often emerges during struggle. According to Franz Fanon, nationalism plays an important role in decolonization because it helps people reclaim dignity and identity. At the same time, identity becomes more complex in post colonial societies. Because of colonial influence, people may carry both local and foreign elements in how they see themselves. Homi Baba calls this hybridity, where identity is formed through the blending of cultures. So, overall, these three concepts will help us understand how people belong, how they unite, and how they see themselves in society. Now, let us begin with the first concept, the nation. The nation is often understood as a group of people who share a common identity, such as the language, culture, history, and traditions. However, in post colonial theory, the nation is not seen as natural or permanent. Instead, it is a socially constructed idea. Again, Benedict Anderson describes the nation as an imagined political community. This means people feel connected even if they will never meet most of their fellow citizens. So, how is this connection formed? It is built through shared systems like language, education, and media. For instance, when people watch the same news, study the same history, or celebrate the same national holidays, they begin to feel part of one community. In the Philippine context, this can be seen through learning about heroes like Rizal and Bonifacio, celebrating Independence Day, and singing the national anthem. These shared experiences strengthened the national identity. Another important factor is print media, such as newspapers and books. Historically, this allowed people to share common stories and ideas, which helped build a sense of unity. However, it is important to understand that the nation is not neutral because it is constructed. It can include some groups and exclude groups. For example, some indigenous groups in the Philippines may feel that their identities are not fully represented in the dominant national narrative. This shows that not everyone experiences the nation in the same way. In addition, nations are shaped by shared historical experiences, especially colonization. In the Philippines, national identity was shaped by Spanish colonization, American colonization, and the struggle for independence. So these experiences will help unite people, but they also created differences. So overall, the nation is not fixed. It is a dynamic and evolving, shaped by history, culture, and power. Because of this, people develop strong feelings toward the nation, and this leads us to the next concept, nationalism. Now, nationalism refers to the feeling of loyalty and attachment to a nation. It is both an emotional connection and a political force. In simple terms, nationalism makes people feel this is my country, these are my people, and encourages them to protect and support their nation. In post-colonial context, nationalism becomes especially important because it often develops as a response to colonization. According to Frantz Fanon, nationalism is a key part of decolonization. It helps people unite, resist foreign rule, and reclaim their identity. A strong example of this is the Philippine Revolution. Filipinos developed nationalism through the writings of Rizal, the revolutionary movements like the Katipunan, and the shared desire for independence. Nationalism became the force that united people despite differences in region or language. However, nationalism is not always positive. It has what we call a dual nature. On one hand, it unites people, inspires resistance, and promotes independence. But on the other hand, it can exclude others, create divisions, or be used for power. Frantz Fanon warns that after independence, nationalism can sometimes be controlled by elite groups. Instead of creating equality, it may lead to a new forms of inequality. For instance, even today, nationalism can sometimes prioritize dominant cultures, ignore minority voices, or create us versus them thinking. Nationalism is also reinforced through national symbols like flags and anthems, education, language, and historical narratives. In the Philippines, we see this through singing Lupang Hinirang, celebrating national holidays, and studying Philippine history. So these practices strengthen unity, but they can also present only one version of identity, which may not reflect the diversity of all groups. So overall, nationalism is a complex and a powerful force. It can unite and empower people, but it can also create exclusion if not critically examined. So, to summarize my part, the nation is imagined and constructed. Nationalism is the force that unites and defends it, but both are shaped by history and power. And this complexity becomes even more visible when we talk about identity, which will be discussed next.
So, hello everyone, I am Saima Abdul Jalil and I'll be continuing the discussions of Najiha Sampurna. So now let's move on to the identity. So, identity refers to how individuals or groups understand who they are in relation to culture, society, and history. It includes aspects such as cultural identity, linguistic identity, ethnic identity, and especially national identity. So, while identity may seem personal and stable, postcolonial theory emphasizes that it is constructed, dynamic, and often shared by power relation. So, In post-colonial contexts, identity becomes particularly complex because of the lasting effects of colonization. So, colonization is one of the major reasons for this instability. Colonization does not only control land, it also affects culture, language, beliefs, and self perceptions. So, colonization does not only control land and resources, it also influences culture, language, and ways of thinking. As a result, identity is not formed in isolation but is deeply affected by historical experiences and external forces. So, one of the key ideas in understanding post-colonial identity is the concept of psychological impact as discussed by Franz Fanon 1952 in Black Skin, White Masks. So, Fanon explains that colonized individuals may begin to see themselves through the perspective of the colonizer. This can lead to feelings of inferiority, self-doubt, and a desire to imitate the colonizer's culture. So, in this sense, colonization becomes internalized. It affects not only external conditions but also how individuals perceive themselves. So, this internal conflict often results in what can be described as an identity crisis. Fanon explains that colonized individuals may begin to see themselves through the eyes of the colonizers. This creates a psychological conflict. They may feel inferior to the colonizer, detached from their own culture, pressured to imitate foreign norms. So, identity crisis, individuals may feel torn between their indigenous culture and the imposed culture of the colonizer. They may struggle to fully belong to either, creating a sense of disconnection or fragmentation. So, it is no longer just external control, it shapes how people think about themselves. So, this shows that identity in post-colonial context is not stable but is marked by tensions and negotiation. Another important concept is hybridity. It introduces by Homo Ki Baba 1994. So, Baba argues that identity is formed in what he calls the third space, a space where cultures interact and new meanings are created. Rather than being purely one culture or another, individuals develop hybrid identities that combine elements from both indigenous and colonial influences. So, this challenges the idea of a pure or fixed identity and instead it presents identity as something fluid and evolving. So, hybridity is significant because it shows that identity is not simply a loss or confusion but also a site of creativity and transformation. So, through cultural interaction, new forms of identity emerge that cannot be reduced to a single origin. So, this perspective shifts the understanding of identity from something fixed to something constantly in process. Language also plays a crucial role in shaping the identity. According to Ngugi Thiong O 1986 in Decolonizing the Mind, language is not just a tool for communication but a carrier of culture and worldview. So, the use of colonial languages in education and public life can influence how individuals think and express themselves, sometimes at the expense of local languages and cultural identity. This creates a tension between accessing global opportunities and preserving cultural heritage. So, furthermore, identity in post-colonial societies is often influenced by representation, how culture and people are portrayed in media, literature, and history. Dominant narratives may privilege certain identities while marginalizing others, shaping how individuals see themselves and how they are perceived by others. So, overall, identity in post-colonial theory is best understood as complex, hybrid, and continuously negotiated. It is shaped by historical forces such as colonization as well as by ongoing cultural interaction. Rather than being fixed or singular, identity is multiple and evolving, reflecting both the challenges and possibilities of post-colonial experience. So now let's move on to the connection of the concepts. These three concepts are deeply interconnected. The nation is the imagined community, nationalism is the force that unites and defends it, and identity is how individuals relate to that community. The concept of a nation, each concept influences and shapes the others, forming a dynamic relationship that reflects both historical experiences and ongoing cultural processes. So, the nation provides a sense of collective belonging. It is the imagined space where individuals see themselves as part of a larger community. However, this sense of belonging does not exist on its own. It is reinforced and maintained through nationalism. So, nationalism acts as the emotional and political force that unites people under a shared identity. Nationalism encourages individuals to identify with the nation and to participate in its preservation and development. At the same time, identity connects individuals to the nation. It reflects how people understand themselves in relation to the collective. However, in post-colonial context, identity is often shaped by both indigenous traditions and colonial influences, making it complex and sometimes contradictory. So this means that individuals do not simply inherit a national identity, they actively negotiate it and construct it. So this creates a dynamic relationship. Identity shapes how people understand the nation. Nationalism reinforces the idea of the nation, and the nation in turn influences identity. So this relationship can be better understood as a continuous cycle. The nation shapes identity by defining what it means to belong, while nationalism reinforces this definition by promoting unity and shared values. So, in turn, identity naman sustains or challenges both the nation and nationalism, as individuals interpret and respond to this concept in different ways. From a post-colonial perspective, these concepts are not stable. They are continuously shaped by history, power, and cultural interaction. This means that they are always changing and open to reinterpretation. Post-colonial theory highlights that this connection is not always harmonious. While this concept can promote unity and resistance, they can also create tensions. For example, nationalism may exclude certain groups, and the idea of the nation may not fully represent diverse identities within it. As a result, identity can become a site of struggle where individuals negotiate their place within the nation. Thus, this relationship between nationalism, and identity is complex and constantly evolving. It reflects not only the legacy of colonization but also the ongoing process of cultural interaction and transformation. So, in conclusion, the concept of nation, nationalism, and identity are not fixed or natural, but are socially constructed and shaped by historical, cultural, and political forces. So, from a post-colonial perspective, these concepts are deeply influenced by the experience of colonization and continue to evolve in its aftermath. The nation is understood as an imagined community that creates a sense of belonging among individuals, while nationalisms serve as both a unifying and political force that can empower people, particularly in their struggle of independence, but it can also lead to exclusion and inequality. Identity, meanwhile, is complex and dynamic, shaped by both internal and external influences, including cultural interaction in colonial history. So, together, this concept reveal how individuals and societies define themselves and relate to one another. They show that belonging is not simply given, but constructed and negotiated over time. Postcolonial theory encourages a critical understanding of these ideas by questioning who defines them, whose voices are included, and how power operates within them. Ultimately, examining nation, nationalism, and identity allows for a deeper understanding of how societies are formed and how individuals navigate their sense of self in a constantly changing world. These concepts remain relevant today as issues of culture, belonging, and power continue to shape global and local realities.